IPAS centres, International Protection Accommodation Services centres in Ireland are a very contentious issue for some. Other people think they're just simply wonderful. NGOs, left wing organisations who tell us that Ireland is open and welcoming for all, they don't have a problem with them. But for many towns and villages that these IPAS centres have opened up in, many times against the residents' wishes, and seemingly completely disregarding their thoughts and opinions on what is being thrust upon them, it's starting to get a little bit closer to home for other people. And there's one case in particular that's starting to become a real thorn in the side for residents of a certain area of Dublin. And it's another huge centre that's due to open beside the International Protection Applicant Centre, slap bang in the middle of Dublin. So let's get into the details on this one and see what has been happening. This was originally brought to light some few days ago by various sources. I'm going to lift this intro from Gript, a new proposed IPAS centre not a stone's throw from the Mount Street Asylum office, slap bang in the middle of Dublin. And the prize for the IPAS centre closest to the source of accommodation gold rush seems set to be taken by a company that appears to have secured a contract for an asylum centre barely a few steps up the road from the offices of the IPO at 79 to 83 Lower Mount Street. So the IPO, or the International Protection Office, in their words, is where 80% of the applicants for international protection rock up to first declare their interest in staying in Ireland forever and becoming inter-county hurlers and so on and so forth, and future employees of anti-racism NGOs. So that's the site of the next proposed centre. However, residents in the area are none too happy about this, and we're starting to see more and more legal challenges against these centres, some of which are successful, many of which people are told to just, be tolerant, welcome people, just accept it, it's going to happen. But Mount Street Community Group threatens legal action over asylum housing proposal. The department confirms an offer was made for the accommodation centre at Dublin property, but it says no decision has actually been made. So a firm called Lower Mount Street Accommodation Services Limited has reportedly applied for permission to convert the office block into an IPAS housing centre. Huge big centre this is going to be turned into. The former headquarters at 33 to 41 Lower Mount Street was put up for sale with potential for refurbishment or redevelopment in June 2023 with a guiding price of €9.5 million. So one of the residents has been saying we've been living with tents and metal barriers in our neighbourhood for over 18 months, said the email that was seen by the Irish Times. Now an application is put forward to house 700 people, in addition to having the IPO on the same street. So, yeah, that was a bit of a kick in the teeth for the residents, but they're joining a growing army of people who are in this position. We have played our part in this crisis of the government's own making. We will no longer allow our area to bear the burden of this mismanagement. And the one thing I say above everything else is this is all the government's doing. This is orchestrated and designed by the government, mismanaged by the government. Call it incompetence, call it a sinister plan, call it whatever you like, but the blame for all of these woes lies solely at the Irish government's feet in this case. A group representing businesses and residents around Dublin's Mount Street has threatened to take legal action if this goes ahead. In an email sent to local TDs and councillors on Sunday, which is 2 days ago, members of the Mount Street Community Network, which was established in March 2024, almost a year ago, said they would resist the application to turn the former HQ of the Irish League of Credit Unions into housing for IPAS applicants and would use legal action if necessary. So They're understandably miffed. This isn't just an uncomfortable position for them to be in as residents, but it's also really affecting business in the area very, very negatively, as it does, as you would expect. You know, when you take a hotel out of commission, for example, turn it into an iPass centre, that hotel loses all its customers, paying customers, tourists that would come into an area, tourists that would support an area. Suppliers maybe lose contracts with that hotel. Maybe they'll set up their own supply chain for food and services rendered. It has a real negative impact on local businesses. So the Department of Integration spokeswoman confirmed it received an offer for the accommodation at the site, but no decision has been made. They will be carrying out a detailed appraisal of the offer. In May last year, the tents of more than 200 asylum seekers were dismantled and removed from Mount Street. It was a tent city. Let's be honest, call it what it is. It was tent city at one stage last year, and then the government said, we can't have this in the centre of Dublin. So they just simply moved the tent city elsewhere, and then they came back to the canal and steel fencing was put out. A complete mess. Complete mess again. The government are to blame. So tents of more than 200 people were removed as part of a multi-agency operation to clear the area of international protection applicants who had set up camp while awaiting decision on their asylum claim. The IPO, where the claims were made and processed, is located on Mount Street Lower. Barricades were erected where tents previously stood, and nearly 10 months on, the steel fencing is still in place. A restaurant owner in the area, member of the Mount Street network, said on Sunday that the community had reached the end of its tether. Residents and business owners learned of the proposal to redevelop the site like everyone else through reading the paper. Yeah, not a nice way to find out that this is coming to your doorstep, given that they're already located beside the IPO and they've had to deal with Tent City and they've still got the barricades up. We've done everything as a community and businesses in the area to reach out for correspondence, and there's been no answers from, guess who? Government representatives. Asked whether using a city centre premises to house asylum seekers made more sense than housing people in rural areas, the amenities available in a large city, Ms. Hamilton said the community deserved better engagement from government and the IPO. So the questions are being asked, can 700 men go into this, or 700 people? We're not told exactly what the breakdown is, but concerns are there. Is it going to be 700 blokes holed up in that iPass centre with nowhere to go, nothing to do all day? What will they get up to? What won't they get up to? Who knows? This has been ongoing for over 2 years. Total lack of communication. We feel like we're forgotten about and we have no other option but to take legal action. We don't want to do that, but it might be the only thing to do. Business for her own restaurant has also been horrific since the fencing was erected, she added. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You've got a nice business in a nice area. You're working away. You're doing your best to put food on the table. Next thing, Tent City appears beside your premises or your house. Steel fencing is put up. Hundreds of people are camping, squatting in the area, waiting for an iPass decision. They get moved on. The steel fencing stays. And then you're told there could be 700 people accommodated on your doorstep that are just simply rocking up from the IPO. Listen, it's coming to a town or a village or a city near you, and the people that have been unaffected to date will not remain unaffected for long because there's only so many places that you can actually put people and they're running out of spaces. So, Dublin city centre, is there anything to worry about? Is this much ado about nothing? Leave your thoughts, comments and opinions below. Is it just simply another one of many more of these centres that will open up, or will this be the straw that breaks the proverbial camel's back? Residents not happy. What do you think? Leave me your opinions below. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Rick Munn. No risk, no reward. Over and out.